Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Thursday. My draw. Good morning. How are you doing today? Welcome in, guys. We are painting more Thousand Suns. We're getting highlights in on these guys today. We were doing some highlights. We started highlights yesterday, and I was highlighting
First of all,
last night.
let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your home.
Fuck Swan, thank you for the follow. How are you doing? All right, let's just go ahead and jump in. So what I have done, we highlighted the blue at the end of stream yesterday, so this is kind of the result of the blue, and they all have a blue shoulder paddle, 10 of them. So we got all that. Last night I highlighted all the white on everybody, which doesn't seem like a lot, but is very time consuming. So today we're going to start with this bronze, and we're going to build it up into a gold. And this is a little more experimental. This is a bit off the beaten path from what I usually do with my Thousand Suns, which is typically a rich gold color with a couple washes, like a flesh wash and a black wash, and then I bring it back up to like a brighter gold. It's a bit more coppery, but I wanted to try some bronze because I really like the more grim dark look bronze on here. So I'm going to start by mixing I have 1 part Pro Acryl bronze and 1 part Pro Acryl rich gold. And we're going to see if we can't get the start highlight, and of course a little bit of flow improver in there. Brush we're able to use here. Okay. And how are you guys doing? How's everybody's Thursday? It may be a madhouse here while I'm streaming. My son has a friend coming over any minute. So, possibly just pure chaos going on in the background. I don't know. Lightly go over this. I don't want to overshadow what we've already done. This 50-50 doesn't seem like too big of a departure. I think the pigment in the bronze is just so much stronger than the pigment in the gold. Right. This model will be our test, and then we'll move on to everybody else. Hey, Apostle. What's going on? Just pop him in. Yeah, I know you responded to my my answer there. I haven't been able to get back to you. My mornings this week have just been me like running around. And I don't want to wake up early. The family's on summer break. So during the school year, I wake up like really, well, I guess it's about 45 minutes before I am now, but I have time to kind of, wake up, and then I go to the gym, and then I have a bunch of time to kind of get things done before I get on stream. But I've been sleeping in a little bit, and it's been costing me. I just end up being super busy until I start stream. Yeah, I'm excited for your army, Mark III and Mark IV. I plan on getting Mark III tacticals at some point in the near future, and Mark IV tacticals. And continuing my plan of having tacticals of every armor mark, as well as command squad with every armor mark. Discord stuff like message boards? Yeah. Classic forums. I get that. So the question with this is how much do I keep bronze? How much do I move toward gold? Like I said, that's what we're going to figure out on this mini first before we jump into the others. So that's pretty quick, but that's the first layer of gold there. It's already looking a little brighter. You made an Excel sheet for the combos? Nice. Yeah. That's what you got to do. Take this mixture. At this point we're at, it's, I don't know, equivalent to like 3 drops gold, 1 drop bronze. Let's see what we get from this. Hey, Sir Storming Fish, welcome in. Well, at least 20 brick of tax in a command. Yeah. That's the cool way to go. I have a lot more Mark 6 than anything else. I think it's just due to the nature of how insanely cheap it was to get a hold of Mark 6, and, you know, was building out my Legion the most at that point with the basics. Is that enough? I don't think that's too much of it. I think that's a good starter point, honestly. Like, as a highlight, it's a good first base coat, like a 3-to-1 gold to bronze. Then maybe we just do a pure gold, like edge highlight, and see how that looks. Decal work on the breachers, nice. Very nice. Yeah, I got something big to paint next. We'll get to. I'm excited about. This big thing I'm painting will officially mean that I have to start clearing militia or solar auxilia off a display shelf before I can put more Thousand Suns on at a display shelf room. My wife won't let me take the TV out of the living room to fit more display shelves, so kind of stuck moving things. Is it huge tracts of land? Yes. You got me, Blue. That's what it is. I'm gonna jump back in that. Watch that movie one of these days. Hold on. Is that Mydrol's? Yeah, 105 stream streak. They call me the Streak. But hey, 20. Congrats. Congrats on the 20. And thanks for sticking around, guys. I appreciate that. More where that came from. Okay, I think that's a good first color highlight. This is about 3 parts gold, 1 part bronze. So that bronze has so much more pigment. That really overpowers the gold. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And this is our test mini. John Lockridge, welcome in. Welcome everybody. How you guys doing? I am pooped. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So last week being sick, I didn't go to the gym at all. I was dead to the world, and excuse me. But I went. I've gone like full bore back into it this week, and I'm 4 days for 4 at this point. But my body is sore, broken. It's good though. Happy about it. He plans on a Sekhmet Terminator video. Maybe. I haven't made videos in a bit. Yeah, life kind of caught up with me, and I wasn't able to like continue my schedule of making like tactics videos. But Sekhmet are definitely a video I can make relatively soon because I've used them quite a bit. So I want to be careful to not make videos on units I haven't actually used. Okay, alright. I don't know if you guys can fully see everything, but man, all that rich gold as a highlight on the bronze. That is a fantastic color. That is good. It's 3 stream streak. Dude, don't yeah. Don't feel bad, Blue. Dude, I had my like 35 stream streak going. And then it just like wiped it, and then I got like another 5 in, and it like wiped it. Yeah, it was, that one wasn't even my fault either. Like, yeah, Ray Stevens callback. Two color for, yeah, pure gold might be the way to go. Yeah, you're right, Apostle. Yeah, the pure gold is so good. John Lockridge, how do we feel about the Mark IV Marines? I really like them. I will say they really don't have the character that the previous set had. Which is a bit unfortunate. Like the last set, although they're like out of proportion, out of scale with everybody else, you know, they had like all the bonding studs all over the armor, and like all the different armor plates were really unique, and there's like all kinds of cool things going on, and these are relatively simple by comparison. But I plan on getting at least 25. That's the goal, is at least 25. Because I need 20 tacticals with, but Mark IV is my favorite armor mark, and it's like I think the most appropriate for a Legion like Thousand Suns. So I might end up getting more, and just as I find uses for power armor, like I'm making more squads, like Mark IV just might be my go-to. Excuse me. And there's also the question of compatibility with the Rubric squads, because I know the actual Rubric Marines are wearing a version of Mark IV, I believe. So how well do those pieces work together? Because then it's just like, yeah, oh, that gold looks so good. It looks so good, guys. Yeah, that's solid. That is incredible. I'm happy. All right. Painting Dad is very happy with what's going on. Data sheets and report without play. Yeah. I did that a little bit with the tank video. Just because I don't own all those tanks, so it was a bit hard to do like analysis and all that, but I'd use most of them. But yeah, I don't like making videos if I don't actually use the units. Like, I haven't made a Magnus video. I haven't used Magnus yet in 3rd edition. I have in my head an idea of how he's supposed to work, but it doesn't matter if he actually doesn't work that way in the game. There's 60-20 tax. And everything else for different roles. Yeah. Yeah, that's sweet. New dreads and tanks are illegal. Wait, they did? John Lockridge? Their Custody stuff's legal for 11th until their codex comes out. The new plastics are legal for Custodies. Anything in the Custodies, like, okay, better rule, not just for Custodies, but are there any units coming into 11th that are not in the rules that were taken out? Like going straight into 11th? I figured they'd wait until codexes drop to do that. Where do you get the secret guns? There is a creator, excuse me, on the purple themed STL website who makes lots of different bolters that just so happen to work pretty well with their own arms and with minimal effort. And yeah, you can attach. Yeah, it's arms and the guns though. It's not just the guns. They were a paid STL. They weren't completely free. They're pretty cheap though. STL's normally cheap, and like the value I get out of these is more than enough. Also compatibility with other armor marks. These are the Mark II, so they're Mark II bolters with like the extra suppressor piece and the scope in the magazine and everything. That's really cool. But if you want seekers with other marks. Okay. Gold there. Let's do our pure gold highlight now and see if this works. Waiting for the codex. You'll also play Custodies. Yeah. Some gold highlights. Try some silver highlights. Maybe start on the red. You do the red highlights on stream today. If we can get all that done, I'd be really happy. I have a whole lot else to do at that point. Sent to Legends. Okay, that's good. Yeah. I haven't heard about anything being sent to Legends for 40k yet, so I think it's going to be through codexes. I know, like, an edition change is always a good opportunity for them to do that, but with this being kind of a minor edition change, I don't think there's anything big. You know, when they're doing the indexes and they change the rules enough to where you can't use the codexes and everything, that's the time when they'll shove random things. But yeah, when the codex comes out is when we'll really see. I heard the Custodes codex might be coming out this year though, which may be an indication that they are going to remove some stuff. They're going to get rid of it quick. Suspicious 30k range will phase, 40k range out over time. Yeah, I think you're right, Apostle. Yeah, I think it'll kind of. They're going to separate those because they still sell the old Custodes, the chunky Custodes, because the newer ones don't have, you know, like some of the exact options. some of the specific, like, weird bolter extra weapons, or maybe they're in the legacy doc. I don't quite remember. Town Custodies of the first codex is after Orcs and Marines. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, there's gonna be some people unhappy. I'm gonna take a guess with the Custodies, what they remove from it. However, if you're a Heresy Custodies enjoyer, be on the lookout at the end of the year for a lot of really good deals on secondhand Custodies minis. Because we all know that's going to happen. Aquilon will phase out the Alaris Terminators, you think? Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about specific Custodies units to have a really good idea on what would go. I almost got into Custodies, that new set that came out. Here, to score what they look like based on the trend new Custodies. Okay. I do like the look of the new Custodies. A lot. I got that. I think we'll set you down. We'll try to assembly line this a little better. Colors down. What's everybody up to? What you guys doing? I've not tried this. I don't know if anyone has tried this, but if anyone's taken some of the tactical squads that are different marks, like Mark 3 or Mark 6 or something, and if they've tried mixing and matching parts. I wonder if that works and what extent that works too. Just in general. Okay. Take a look here in a minute. What do we got? Oh yeah, those are a lot like Cataphracti, aren't they? Dang. All right. So I've had the same Discord account try to send me messages and try to send me friend requests. I don't recognize the account. There's a nasty bot going around. I've seen yesterday there were 3 separate Discord servers that got like hit. So, word of advice, if you're gonna send me a private message on Discord or you want to send me a friend request, send an actual message with it. Don't just send me a friend request. Focus on Cataphracti. Remap, it makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's a fair observation. Apothecary, Terminator legs, green Apothecary bits, Grey Knights. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So you took pieces from all over the place. That's cool. Shoulder. Yeah. Yeah, I like this color combo a lot. The bronze. It's working very well. Back to focus on work. Yeah. That's right. Imperial factions got their article, didn't they? Enjoy. It's nice chatting with you, Apostle. And you'll definitely know when I'm posting more videos. Did anybody see the announcement that Star Wars Zero Company, I think is what it's called, the turn-based tactics game, is coming out in August, which is not that far away, surprisingly enough. But yeah, it releases in August. I do really want that game. I don't know if I would really have the time to get into it though. It looks good. I love XCOM. I think I would really love like the customization and like the RPG elements and stuff, but it's gonna be like full game price. It's probably gonna be like $60 or something. And I also, something that's new for me, is if I have a method on actually touching up this red in a meaningful way when I make mistakes. So, couldn't do that with the clear paint. So I started using the Vallejo Metallics. I can do that. Hey, Anthony and Joker Paints, welcome in. Welcome. I'm watching the World Cup. I might watch a couple, but I don't have any plans to. I don't like set aside time for it. We're just continuing on with the Seeker Squad. Highlighting this bronze into really nice rich gold. How are you guys doing? Two more Marines to put with this color. Then we're going to use a pure rich gold to edge highlight. That should be it. Gold armor. I really like how it looks on the two that I've completed. So. The least hyped World Cup ever? Probably. You watch the Dutch games? Oh, okay, nice. Some Arbites tonight. End of the day, so just relaxing before sleep. Yeah. Well, good deal. I painted a squad of Arbites a year or two ago for somebody. It was pretty fun. It was a really unique kit. Tomorrow I get to spend my day setting up the game room. So doing some more experimenting last night, figuring out some things, and I figured out my camera doesn't quite get all the edges of the table when I set the table down, so so I have to adjust things, and it was kind of two parts. One part was like it would catch all the edges of the table, but the degree, like the angle of the lens, was off, or the field of view is what it is. So it's automatically set at like a 90-degree field of view, which is like a fisheye lens. So it could see the edges of the table, but all the edges of the table are like bowed really bad on the camera, and I wanted to reduce the fisheye in the lens, but when you narrow the field of view, it almost like zooms in, essentially what it's doing. So what that meant was the actual camera mount itself had to be adjusted, and the camera mount that I had, which fortunately I hadn't hung it up yet, but the camera mount that I had was pretty long. It was 12 or 15-inch long camera mount, and like it didn't reduce anymore. And I was hoping it'd be okay, but yeah, if I hold the camera up higher, I can get the whole table in. So I got a new smaller camera mount. Got two of the kit. Or a cabinet project, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Kind of a fun thing to do.
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your home.
Hey, Mike Corax. Welcome in. How you doing? And thank you for the follow. I hope you're having a great day so far. Mike, are you a Raven Guard fan?
Look at me!
Oh, where am I looking? Let me know. And whips? Alright. One moment, Anthony. Let me finish this color on this guy, okay? And then we'll get to you. Give me a nice round finishing spot here on this color. Oh, Wazdaka. Okay. Very cool. You enjoying that, Minnie? You having fun with it? Seems like a really crazy project, Minnie. Like the rocket smoke out of the back of the bike and everything. Taking your time. Wonderful model. Good to hear. That's good. Alright. This, you know, there's one little spot. I have just enough. Just enough. Okay. Let's take a look at Wazdaka here. Hey, there he is. Man, that's great looking so far. Smoke looks really good. Yeah, the skin on the little Gretchen. Yeah, the bike. Body of the bike. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, looking really good so far. That like deep blue or like purple base coat on the bike is an interesting choice. I imagine that's for like lighting, like your object source lighting and stuff. Yeah, really well done. Oh, when I see your Arbides, man, your gold looks really good. Looks really good. So, I am a commission painter. Yep, that's kind of my like my full-time thing is commission painting. But these minis are for myself. This is my own personal collection here. Just using this kind of pure rich gold here. Almost as just an edge highlight. This is just a really nice color. If I painted 30k Aramon as a giveaway mini. Would that be something you guys would be interested in? Oh, I've never given away a mini that's been painted in my 1000 Suns color scheme, so be interesting and fun to do. And it's been years since I've painted that mini, and I'm curious if how he could turn out. He was actually my test mini. In this army, it was him and an old Mark III Marine. Okay. That's the gold on this guy. Well, you know, let's get these little port things. Thank you, Sir Strumming Fish. I appreciate the compliment. Okay, it's actually 3 done with this color. All that. How the mates coming on? Hey, Mr. Lord, how you doing? Along very nicely. We're kind of finishing up the gold highlights here. And then, yeah, we'll move on to the next color. We have white, blue, and gold finished so far. Have to highlight the dark gray, silvers, and the reds. And then we have like minor details, so you know, like islands and scopes and little bits of the weathering, not all the weathering yet. But we'll start getting some of those things. Some of those will have to wait until after the minis are on their base and varnished and everything, but here. chugging along. I have some ideas about the tabletop streams. I'll have to ask you guys, but I'm going to take a quick break here. I'm done with this guy. Alright. Yeah. Be back in just a couple minutes, guys. All right. Back at it. That's not the screen. That's the screen. Okay. Five left for our last gold highlight here. hoping to get a lot of games in the summer. And via stream will be really nice. So I was going to ask you guys about, or give some ideas, about game streams and just some thoughts I had, some random thoughts. Mr. Lord, what does a varnish do exactly? Where to apply some minis, they'll get ruined. A varnish is basically a hardened shell that goes around your mini that prevents the paint from rubbing off. That's what varnish is, like in a nutshell. I also use varnishes to add or remove like a gloss on my minis. I have different varnishes, like there's matte varnish that mattes everything down and prevents like shiny paint or like glossy paint from shining through and everything. And there's gloss varnish, does the opposite. Typically gloss varnish is a lot stronger because it's gloss, or varnish naturally is glossy, and matte varnish is just gloss varnish with like additives in it, which kind of dilutes the actual varnish properties. So, one second. Okay, so for the game stream, I was thinking about making a couple new channels in the Discord server. A good ultramatte varnish. I do use AK ultramatte, but I've heard, and I haven't like dug too deep on this, but I have heard that AK ultramatte over time turns glossy, which is really bad if it does. Also, ultramatte varnishes, they don't really increase the durability of the paint jobs on your minis. So they're, I would say, pretty much exclusively for giving you a matte effect on your minis and not for actually protecting your paint jobs. But I was thinking of adding some Discord channels. And one of them would be just exclusively for posting the schedule of the tabletop games, putting time and dates as I get them, which is hopefully a couple weeks in advance when I kind of get things worked up. So that's one thing, and the other one would be to post army lists, which sometimes I may be able to post ahead of time, maybe sometimes I don't. I post it like right as the game's starting or right before the game or something, but yeah, I can post lists and such in that one. So those are kind of some ideas I have. I'm also, we're not taking the game so seriously. This is gonna be like, let's play for fun, not to be like the very best of Warhammer. So we're gonna do something where there's a way for chat to influence the game, and it's basically just gonna be like pure shenanigans. So like forcing someone to re-roll all their dice or something like that. But that'll be an idea. If there's something you guys have in mind, happy to take ideas and to brainstorm things or try to make different ideas work. Chat plays, yeah, just chat gets to participate. That's the idea. Yeah, that could be fun. And if you guys are, someone's on the channel and they're winning too much and you're tired of it, you can sabotage them. Just make sure that they do not win. Play Chaos. You can make a pact to a demon or one of the Chaos Gods allowing more shenanigans. 6 on my turn to Chaos Spawn. Yeah. That sounds like a fun idea. That sounds like a lot to implement. Because as far as things to like help chat participate or like make it a little more interactive, like that would take a lot of time to pull off. But yeah, that's something to think about. We could think of like some chaos shenanigans. Okay, 2 more on this gold. We're on to the next color. Maybe I'll do the grays real quick and then the silvers, and we'll kind of see where we are. Start on the reds. Because reds, and it's probably the color that's going to take me the longest. But we just got to start it at some point. Just edge highlighting all the red. Yeah, maybe sometimes a way for you guys to vote on army themes and stuff. If I get to play enough and I have enough things, I'll put some list building choices to a vote. Even if it's just like, what's a thematic list you would like to see, or like what's a theme, or maybe I'll put a couple choices up or something. As a neutral sniper who randomly shoots at either player. Okay, that's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah, that's something that's like quick, right? Like it's like something that like someone uses it, like we can know right away and like act on it. Just throw a dice. Have a special die that's just the sniper's die. An artillery bombardment, we can call in orbital bombardments or something like that. What's up, Mydra? How you doing? That's too bad you've had meetings all morning. I'm just asking about some ways we can make the gaming streams a little more interactive. There was an old mechanic. Maybe we can this could be a fun thing. A way to implement this. I don't know if this would be like an ahead of time or something, but there was an old, it was for 5th edition 40k. There was a book that was out called Battle Missions, and it was a book with just 35 different scenarios that you play, and it had like 3 for each faction, or it was like 36 missions, 3 for each faction, and then 3 that were just like generic, and I also had like a kill team mission, which was cool. Second, there was a one of the Imperial Guard ones was my favorite, but it was an Imperial Guard where it was an attack defend mission, but the Guard were attacking, which is unusual for the Imperial Guard as far as like lore goes, like the thematics. A lot of times it's the Guard that's defending against the the onslaught or whatever, and that's what their rules are kind of based on. So it was a unique scenario. But one of the things they did was they gave a bombardment mechanic. It was to both players. I think the Guard player got 2, and the opponent got 1, and it was every turn, every shooting phase. And it was you'd like cut a little 1-inch square of paper, just like normal paper. And you wouldn't fold it up, you wouldn't crinkle it up or anything, it'd just be little 1-inch squares of paper. And basically, you would measure 36 inches vertical from the board, and then you would hold your paper where you want it, and you would drop it. And it would flutter and fall down, and wherever it landed, you would put a large blast template, so a 5-inch blast template. And then it was basically like a stray basilisk shell hit that area. And it was really cool because sometimes it would barely flutter at all and you'd be right on target, and then other times it would just fly to the other end of the table and or hit your own men or something. It was really interesting and just like fun, quick mechanic, and we could always do something like that, like have a random bombardment or something that comes in. For certain games, Last one here, isn't it? It's gold. So hard your old world army felt it. Yeah, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? Right? Like, yeah. That's totally just stray magic explosions, not orbital bombard. The rogue wizard throwing fireballs. We could also make a list of things, like we could do like, sci-fi or modern themed, or we could, like with technology, we could do like before lots of technology, like fantasy or themed things that players can do. And then before a battle, I can just let you guys know which ones are implemented. So, yeah, we're playing the old world. Orbital bombardment's not around, but like rerolls and maybe like 2 or 3 others are implemented in this game, and those are kind of the list you have to work from. Okay. One color down. I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, Mr. Lord, a chart. Just yeah, have like a chart, and then just just tell people you're like this is what's going on for this game or whatever. Follow the chart. I would need to disable like the alerts and stuff for that too, but be sure to turn on your oscillating fan if you use the orbital bombardment, yeah, or like the stray bombardments, yeah. Games Workshop did have an explicit rule in the battle missions book that you're not allowed to like blow or influence the little paper pieces. Very much against the rules. I actually played a game of Heresy and point last year, it was 3rd edition, but my opponent and I actually used that rule in our game, and it was hilarious. He got most of the bombardments. He was playing defending Solar Auxilia in this scenario, so he got the majority of the bombardments, and then he at one point he dropped them and it fluttered all the way down on top of his Arvis lighter with his like super expensive squad of Velatari that just deployed and blew up the Arvis and and killed most of the squad. It was pretty funny. Otherwise it didn't do a whole lot, but that's the moments you kind of play for, right? Yeah, chart. If we could get like 7 or 8 different things, what are good fantasy ones? Like rerolls are an easy one, but well, like forcing leadership or courage checks on units, or maybe we just start simple too. We don't have to add a whole bunch of things. Just had IKEA meatballs, potato pancakes, scrambled eggs with Swedish gravy. That sounds like a good breakfast. My wife had made some homemade wheat bread. It was going stale, so she made bread pudding, which I can't think of a time that I've had bread pudding before. We had some of that for breakfast. It was really good. We had some fresh blueberries we put in there. Good stuff. Okay. Berry jam. I've never tried lingonberry jam. Or specifically IKEA meatballs. I don't have an IKEA. So. White surströmming fish. Yeah, I bet they do have some meatballs. I don't think surströmming fish is actually from Sweden though. I could be wrong, but versions of Old World could be done. Random trebuchet malfunction. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Stray catapult. Yeah. Falling warpstone from Skaven chicanery. Yeah, just random things like that. Okay. Get just some bright silver here. These highlights. On the palette. So, right. Also, with the Old World, you're not from Sweden. About 2 hours from the nearest IKEA. Yeah. Too bad. As far as the Old World goes, when you throw templates around, templates are a really big deal. To where, since all your units are packed in together, if you hit like the center of a regiment, you're almost guaranteed to wipe out at least half of it. I don't know. Maybe that's half the fun. works pretty well for a silver highlight. And just the fun of silver highlights. That's all. Got all the unique guys out of the way. I think it's just normal dudes just holding bolters after this. One guy has a grenade. Okay, we'll do him next. Okay. I think tabletop. That's it. Tabletop Tavern. That's what it is. Yeah, released today. You're a fantasy fan and a fan of roguelites and Total War style battles, might be the game for you. Hey, Raja Tabletop Tavern, I think is what it's called. I've played the demo on stream, and I've been kind of keeping up with it, but yeah, it released today, the full game. And I know there's going to be a lot of updates, and the guy said he's not going to have any DLC, but he will add, like, DLC for free and everything, so that'll be a thing. What's up, Phaedros? How you doing? Alright, yes, have I heard about the bird? Yeah, the bird is the word, right? Yeah, I've heard. Alright. 5 more with the silver. We'll see what's up from there. Word is Hell Turkey. Oh yeah, the Helldrake might be pretty good. I don't know if I like that because I don't want to paint any of those minis for anybody. That'd be fine. I remember when it first came out in like 5th edition, it was really good. That was because I had a flamethrower that was AP3 and could go through marine armor, and that was a big deal. I imagine I'll eventually be playing some 11th edition and on stream, and so I'll probably need to start looking into what's going on with that. Haven't played much 40k the past like 2 years. How similar is Tabletop Tavern to Soval? I would say the like Slay the Spire like map is similar. But then the actual battles are more, it's more like a Total War battle. So it's a real-time strategy. And, you know, you play the battles in between. It's like maybe 5 minutes for a battle to play out. So they're pretty quick. Yeah, and there's at least a dozen different factions you can choose from. I think there's more coming. But again, he made it a thing where he had like this kind of like a stretch goal thing where if he got so many wish lists before the game came out, he would add stuff in. And so some of the things he has to implement, but one of the big things, they hit a goal where he's not doing any paid DLC for the game. Any DLC that comes out for the game is going to be free for everybody. So, drop the aircraft word, yeah. Yeah, so it's just a 12-inch hover movement thing, right? Is that all it is? It just kind of hovers around and blasts stuff, which is cool. Like that's cool that your flyers get to be, oh, that flyer in particular gets to be on the board more. Got 4 more of these guys to get this color. We'll get the eyes. Something else to get. Let's see. Astro's ESO can never gain any, but it's tough. Yeah, that's cool. The fast hovering demon engine. Very cool. Maybe we put down some white gold and I'll show you guys how these red highlights are going to look. Haven't seen them before. Get it done on a couple minis. It takes a while. The Mark II has so many little things to edge highlight on the red armor that it takes forever. Mark III I think is the fastest, maybe. Mark III might be the fastest, but Mark VI is really fast to highlight because there's no segmented plates. All very basic. Another reason I love Mark VI armor. You're done. Let's do the last 3. Frankie Fingers, what's going on? How you doing? New Mark 4. Yeah, I'll probably get some eventually. I don't think I'm gonna get the battle group box. If I did, I would split it with somebody. Like, all I really want out of it are the tacticals. I already have 2 Sicarans. I have 3 Contemptor Dreadnoughts. I don't need more of that. Yeah. Bale Flamer. Yep. Oh, good deal. Alright. Glad the Bale Flamer is cool. That is, like, the appropriate weapon with that, right? Flying Dragon and all. Yeah, Mark II definitely takes the longest to paint. But it's cool. I've been very happy having just a whole pile of Mark II. This is about the last of my Mark II. I think I might have a couple more minis, or like maybe 1 sprue left, maybe. Or this might be it. I had 50 Mark II Marines. I got a big box and a little extra Saturnine box, and how's your Terminator been doing? I haven't played Heresy in a bit, so it's been a couple months. Your mini will see the table though. Yeah. Definitely. And we're gonna show it off and ham it up and, you know, do all the things, so yeah, I've just been too busy, like I haven't been able to like get an actual regular game time together. My son's had soccer. His soccer season's been going on, which next week is his last week of soccer. Yeah, Frankie, what about you? What do you guys like in the Mark IV? I've been telling people my goal with the armor marks is to have at least 20 tactical marines for every armor mark, and then I can properly have mixed squads. Right now, for tacticals, I only have Mark II and Mark VI. It's mostly Mark VI. I have like 40 or 50 Mark VI, and then 20 to 25 Mark II. But if I get to the point where I can properly mix all the armor marks and squads and stuff, I'll be really happy. That's really what I want to do, is just to have a lovely variant on everybody, because I love that. I love when the Marines each have their own little bit of personality. You know, different helmets or slightly different paint jobs just help them stand out a little bit. I like that. That's kind of difficult to do sometimes when you're dealing with 5 poses of Marines. A little secret about these Marine poses, though. They are mono pose, but you can swap the arms on any of the Marines with any of the others. You can get different arm poses for the classic bolters. So you can get lots and lots of different poses. I think it makes, what, 25 poses out of the box, which, you know, the legs are all pretty similar, which is unfortunate. If they had like a kneeling leg pose, like, that would be better, but yeah, that's all right. I feel 25 poses is about what you would get out of an old tactical Marine box. When do you think we'll get Mark V? Ooh, maybe, I'm gonna say in about 2 years. Yeah, I would say within about 2 summers. I don't think there's going to be like Heresy 4.0 in 2 years. I don't think Heresy's on a 3-year schedule. Um, but I do think we'll see Mark 5. What I would like to see this year is, and maybe they'll announce it. I don't know if that'd be something they announce or just, might kind of come about. But I hope they do a big FAQ this summer and does a little bit of like a 0.5 edition, and they really spend some time cleaning up some of the jank in the rules. There's not a lot in 3rd edition, but some of the things. I have to do some errata FAQ things. It's kind of what they do for the old world. The summer is like a big update for the FAQ, and they do like a 0.5 edition, and then they do a winter FAQ that just does like the bare minimum. Mark 4 and 6 are your favorite? Yeah. Yeah, Mark 4 is definitely my favorite. And I think going forward, any like extra Marines that need power armor that I do will probably get Mark 4. Except for there's one exception to that. Well, 2 exceptions. There's the tactical Marines where I want a little bit of everything for the tactical Marines. And then I also would like command squads. So I want 5 Marines from each armor mark to be command squad minis, like retinue command squad minis. And I want them all to have just like a crazy amount of different weapons and all kinds of different stuff. So I can just kind of pick weapons I want for my command squad out of like the 25 different minis and just put them in a command squad and have dudes with different armor marks, and have that be the thing. Like those are the veterans that have their preferred armor. That to me would be I don't know what they would release in 2028 Sir Storming Fish, but I do know that the Specialist Studio who does Horus Heresy does not release 3-year editions. If you look at their other games, Middle Earth, The Old World, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, all those games are, at least Middle Earth and Blood Bowl are indicators. I'm pretty sure Blood Bowl did like a 6-year edition before the new this current new edition came out. But Middle Earth was a 6-year edition as well. So I could see the Old World getting big summer edition change in 2028. Yeah, or a new game or something. You never know. What would be next year? Last year was Heresy. Year before that was Age of Sigmar. So it'd be Age of Sigmar next year. That's 2027. So yeah, 2028 they'd need something, and Old World would be the good fit for that. Or a new game. They could bring back like Battlefleet Gothic in some manner, or something like that. They could have something else that they're pushing. Yeah, Specialist Studio handles Heresy. Nope. No, Specialist Studio is still Heresy. They still have Heresy. Last year was Heresy, Phaedros. It was the year before that was Age of Sigmar. Yeah, 3-year cycle sucks. Right, and you got about a year to use your General's Handbook. Right? Call me crazy. It was Horus Heresy. They didn't do the new edition and Heresy. Was it really both? Hmm. Yeah, I'm old. I can't keep track of time anymore. Yeah, they did both of those at the same time. No, Skaven Tide was 2 years ago. Skaven Tide was 2 years ago. I just looked this up. It was 2024. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're getting old too, Phaedrus. That's what it is. Heresy Second Edition was 2022. Yep, Third Edition 40K or 10th Edition 40K was 23. Yeah, because it was 9th Edition 40K was 2020 in COVID. Then it was Age of Sigmar 2021. 22 was Heresy Second. Because I had been streaming about a year and I was getting into it. That was when I was yeah, trying to get into it. And then yeah, okay, gotcha, yeah. And then yeah, 23 was 10th edition 40K, 24 was AOS, 25 was Heresy. So it would seem like in that short time frame that's through your time cycle. I still don't think Heresy's through your time sequence. I think what happened with Heresy 3rd edition and well with Heresy 2nd edition, excuse me, was Alan Bly passed away. All right, and that was like what, 2018, 2019, something like that. Alan Bly was basically the guy in charge of Horus Heresy as a game with the books, the rules, you know, a lot of the like miniature directions. Like Alan Bly was the dude for Horus Heresy in Forge World for a long time. And he passed away. It was very unexpected. But the business needed something to do to like continue the game. So and then you had like 2020 came around with COVID and Games Workshop like exploded. They got so they were doing so well and they basically started greenlighting projects, right? There's also like change of leadership. So when you started hearing about like the old world is coming back and yeah, and then what they did was they wanted to capitalize and start releasing big stuff for Horus Heresy. And they maybe had a time frame, and the time frame was like, all right, you got, you know, we're doing really well, you got a year and a half. So what they did was they hurried up and, you know, without Alan Bly, obviously, they wrote a quick rule set that ended up being 2nd edition. So it was like, obviously, there's no more 7th edition 40K. So you can't just piggyback off of that. So we need our own rule set to fully go by. So they made an entire new rule set and they released all these plastic minis and tried to make it like a big release. And so it was rushed. And anyone who's played Heresy 2nd edition knows that that game was rushed. Like rules were all over the place. Like a lot of the designs didn't make sense. There were typos everywhere. Like there's all kinds of crazy stuff. They did that to capitalize on the success of GW and like everything going on, and they wanted to get that game out there and be able to continue it. Maybe they already had a plan to release plastic minis, and so they needed something to go with that, right? So they put out 2nd edition. This entire time, their idea was to make an edition that was their own thing, like separated from kind of Alan Bly. Not that it, like his influence was bad, like it was good, but like the writers wanted like extra time to come up with their own edition. They didn't quite have the time to do up a second, so they took their time. They wrote out 3rd edition, and then what ended up happening was I think GW ended up rushing them again. So I think they took like 3 years to write the core rules for that game, and then like 7-8 months, I would say like 3-4 months before it went to the printer, GW's like, hey, it's going to the printer now, and you need all the rule books out by then. And so they had to like rush through and get the Libers out, and so they kind of rushed on the Libers, which you can kind of tell the Libers aren't written as well, the rules aren't written quite as well, but the actual rules themselves are solid. So I think they were really trying to take their time to come up with their own rules, like the new writers for this system. Um, while second edition was like basically building up that capital that they needed, with like sets and like people getting into the game and all these things. But Heresy Second was a lot of fun. It was not a great game. It was still better than like 7th edition 40k. But compared to like the quality of game that is 3rd edition, doesn't hold a candle. So yeah, with that, I think 3rd edition is going to stick around for a while. And they're going to keep doing journals, and I think we're going to start getting Legion-specific journals with Legion-specific minis. They're phasing out all the resin stuff. GW hasn't released a resin mini in well over a year at this point, right? Or did they just... They just released Angron and Luktara Sarin back in February, but those were like the last ones that had been announced a year prior. And they don't even do Necromunda and resin anymore. All Necromunda stuff that comes out is plastic. So yeah, it's just plastics. That's it. Middle Earth is all plastic now. At least as far as new releases go. They haven't released resin minis in, yeah, all 2026. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see. Oh, 7th edition? Came into 40k midway through 8th. So, I played 40k a lot from 3rd edition. I jumped in the tail end of 3rd edition and played through, like, part of the way through, like, 7th edition. And I ended up kind of stopping in 7th edition. 7th edition was a mess overall. But it was also the last edition with like the kind of rules that I enjoyed in 40k, like armor values and all or nothing AP values, and fewer wounds on models, less giant piles of dice, more kind of thematic gameplay, and less like tournament crowd kind of catering and gaminess. And what was also cool when the Heresy rules were originally written, they were just faction rules, and you could play Heresy armies against regular 40k armies. And a lot of the original Heresy rules were like very early Heresy, so it was like, yeah, it's like Great Crusade kind of stuff. So yeah, when you're fighting Eldar, you're fighting orcs, like that's an appropriate opponent to fight with your Heresy army. Oh, you're getting the Inquisitor mini? Nice. Think of... Yeah, no, GW's done doing resin minis. They're done. Everything's plastic from here on out, so... I think it slows the release schedule, right? But eventually, like... It's gonna be nice, We'll get the Legion specifics. We'll get all the cool minis coming. The Necromancer. Oh, cool. All right. stomping overhead. Great. Yeah, Tabletop Tavern's out. I think it's 25% off right now. I'm gonna go check it out. Awesome. I might pick it up. This be a diorama to make it work as a playable piece. Oh, cool. All right. Be cool. Yeah, I don't own any of the Warhammer Plus. I don't have a, or I've never had a Warhammer Plus subscription. I had a Warhammer Plus subscription for 1 month. I remember I was like, you know what, I'll watch the shows they got and everything. It was pretty early on in the life of that app or whatever, but I remember I had the subscription and I had a couple days where I watched the shows on there, and then like that was it. I was like, wow, this took me 2 days to get through all of their content. You know, it was $6. It was fine to check out. They give you like a gift card if you pay for like a year or something. A voucher. Yeah, so this takes a while. The red highlights here. We're not forgetting parts that look off. So many bands of armor. Way too thick. Let's get that out of there. Okay, we'll come back to you in a little bit. So anyway, all that rant aside, I don't think it'll be Heresy in 2020. I would be surprised if it was. Yeah, I don't think there are any Horus Heresy players that actually want the 3-year cycle. I don't know if there are any 40k players that want the 3-year cycle on the rule. Is there anybody that actually likes that? That's what I spend my if I can get new models from armor faster than I can paint them. Yeah, exactly, Jaded, yeah. Also, what's going on? Yeah, especially if you play Space Marines, like they release Space Marine models so often. Yeah, 4 year. So my kind of ideal rotation. I had this thought up at some point. I think it was a 5 year schedule, and GB they have plenty of time to release models in between all this stuff, but they can kind of slow down the codexes a little bit, all this stuff. But a 5 year, it would be like year one is 40K. Year two is something. I think 4 year. I think 4 year does this too, but yeah, 4 year would allow for like Heresy and Old World to be in there, but 5 year would give you like some of the other games. But you would have like you can kind of make like a weird schedule of like, always in the 5 year schedule is 40K and Age of Sigmar, and the other 3 years rotate between the other like 4 or 5 games they have, where they sit on like a 6 year or something schedule. Yeah, the 3 turn is definitely just like, it's like unit turnover. It's exhausting though. Like, I know people are excited for like the Armageddon box and stuff, but I don't know if I've seen people too excited for the new rules, or like the prospect of a bunch of new rules. Like, it seems like some of the rule changes are good, but also it seems like a lot of these rule changes could have just been a chapter approved. Like, they've made bigger rule changes in like a January errata than they have with this edition change. And yeah. Yeah, were they excited for that box? Yeah. I know some people. It's definitely not as hyped. Yeah. I'd be interested to know like how well it sells in places. Like, we're never gonna know, right? But I also wonder if it sells out, is that just due to, right, like tournament churn and like it's a discount box, or does it sell out because, man, people are so excited for 10th edition or for 11th edition? Like, even when 10th edition came out, like, it felt needed. It was only 3 years, but like 9th edition was a mess. And overcomplicated and just had so many issues. But 10th edition hasn't quite felt that way. It's not my favorite edition. I haven't played much, but it seems like it just kind of chugs along. Actually raining. That's good. Disappointing. They made new eradicators, only give them heavy bolters. Yeah. Yep. But it's weapons in 40K also are never like, it's never like one weapon is the same weapon across different units. Like, they call it a heavy bolter, but it's completely different because the way the unit uses it. And like that particular squad gets blast, right, if they stand still, so it's exploding heavy bolter. It's just multi-shot with the blast keyword or whatever, and yeah, they gave a bunch of stuff. lot of my weekend's gonna be spent setting up, but I'll show you guys a before and after with this highlight, and we'll see if it's. I think it looks worth it on screen. I do with all my minis. I'm gonna do it anyway, but. Their vets look like jump-ins with power weapons. Yeah, the Vanguard vets are super disappointing. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Even the jump pack chaplain seems a bit soulless. The old jump pack chaplain was my favorite Space Marine mini. Alright. Metal highlights. Comparison sense. Yeah, look good. Looks good. So we'll have a little bit of weathering to do. Excuse me. I have the bases here. These are my base toppers. I just have to sand them down. There's all the supports right there, so I'm gonna wet sand them so I don't get dust everywhere. But we'll wet sand them, glue them on their bases, prime them, base coat them. We'll paint these real quick. These don't take very long to paint. And then when the Marines are done, we'll glue them on here, and then we finish up our weathering, mainly weathering powders and stuff. Do one more. Let's do one more. Something. Yeah, the Librarian looks pretty good. Yeah. I like the Intercessors as well, but I always like having like Intercessor type stuff, so I like those kind of things. Excuse me. Why I play Ultramarines, man, because then everything works. All right, let's do one more here. No, Ultramarines are sweet. They put Ultramarines in Battle Sector as a faction. I think they look really cool. They got a bunch of unique units compared to the Blood Angels that were like the original faction in that game. I think they look like a lot of fun to play. Haven't played Battle Sector in a while though. Last I played, I grabbed the Guard DLC and played it a little bit and didn't. DLC was really buggy. Slightly less rigid Imperial Fist successor. Yeah. No, Crimson Fists are really cool though. I don't know if Crimson Fists are still like kind of following their old lore, but I liked them back in the day when they were like their big focus was Stern Guard veterans, because they had like no numbers left, right? They were still rebuilding. Like all the dudes left were just the veterans. Gives extra OC to Stern Guard. Okay, nice, nice. That's cool. Yeah, the Stern Guard minis are great. The new ones. They're fantastic minis. Okay, it's one leg. So I'm not painting 20 of these guys right now. Like Ultramarines because you want Marnie's Calgar and a Dreadnought, or on a bike, or on a Land Raider, and a Stormraven gunship? Yeah, yeah. That's why. It's the only reason I like Ultramarines. I have several reasons I like Ultramarines and have my like Primaris army as Ultramarines. One is because their color scheme is solid. Like blue and gold, sick. Good color scheme. The other reason is, as far as collecting goes, every single set that you buy of Space Marines has Ultramarine transfers in it. So I never have to worry about finding transfers for my minis. Because they always exist. They're Ultramarines, right? Like they always get the transfers in the box. So I have that. The other reason is, no matter what I collect, it'll make sense for me to field that unit. So I can field whatever I want in an army, or whatever style of army, and it makes sense as Ultramarines. So those are a couple of the reasons. And they had a bunch of special characters that were already like made in Primaris, which is really cool. At the time, they were like the only ones getting the Primaris stuff, but... Alright, Phaedros, have a good one. Chatting with you. So many random lines in this armor. Too much. Calguard Phobos armor? I mean, it'd be cool. Yeah. I only own one Calgar right now. I haven't bought anything for my Ultramarines in a long time. I have Calgar in his Gravis armor. That's about it. Getting her stride a bit. This guy's almost done. Try for one more. We can, and we're sitting here. 3 finished is better than 2 finished. The way we do it. Okay. Yeah, let's just go one more. One more. We got time. And legs done. This color is just particularly an exercise in patience. All it is. How much can my sanity handle? Yeah, Sunday I might be finishing up these minis. I try to work on them the weekend as I can, and then Sunday we can do a bit, whether it's painting bases or last details on these. Always nice to get just yet another unit finished. Okay, so 3 of these with their armor highlighted, like so. We got 7 more to do. We'll get our color out, get those guys ready to paint. But I'm going to call the stream there. And yeah, I'm just going to tell you guys to have a great weekend. And hope nobody else is getting sick or getting summer cold or anything. Hopefully I am sounding better the next time you see me on stream, which should be Sunday evening. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Look forward to possibly an announcement this weekend or early next week about a time that I will be doing, maybe doing some testing of some live stream gaming and such in a totally different room with, new camera and new, different studio area and everything. So should be a good time. But you all have a great weekend. Jaded Valkyrie, Mr. Lord, Pedros, thank you guys for coming to hang out. And I will see you all on Sunday. Bye, everybody.